Alright, welcome to this video. So this is a topic that's quite interesting, I think, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around this, and I've been trying to understand it myself and see if I can bring to you this message. I guess a universal law of nature, perhaps, combined with a spiritual perspective. So let's talk about the law of attraction. I know in a lot of self-help circles there's like this talk about the law of attraction and how to manifest your dreams and all this pseudoscience, and I want to talk about that and what that means in application, in theory and philosophy, and how that relates to desire. So, first of all, the only reason why you desire anything is because you consciously or subconsciously believe that it'll bring you happiness. Now, what's the problem that most people face in this day and age? Is that they can attain happiness, they can feel it, everybody knows what happiness feels like, but they're not able to hold on to it. It's fleeting, it's ephemeral, it's transitory. Now, what the whole science of spirituality in Vedanta, in Hinduism and Buddhism, is to try to find the source of happiness that will give you eternal happiness. Because what we're desiring, whether it's relationship, substance, state of mind, object, possession, that cannot provide you with long-lasting happiness. We must understand that. So, for example, like wealth, wealth gives convenience and comfort, but it doesn't bring fulfillment. Fulfillment is something deeper, something more, perhaps less obvious. So, how that relates to desire? So the mind is outward focusing. It's outward seeking. It's always trying to grab onto something. As I said, person, possession, substance, state of mind, name and fame, position. That's what the mind is trying to do. And why? Because the mind is so tied in with the ego. So the ego is the separate self. The ego is not you. The ego is the character you've formulated in your existence. But the real you is the watcher of the ego. The real you is the infinite consciousness that is part and parcel with this whole reality. In Hinduism, they call it Brahman. In Taoism, they call it the Tao. Now, once an individual can tap into the Tao, or can have a glimpse of their eternal nature, of their eternal spiritual nature, through various spiritual practices, one can start to realize where the source of happiness comes from. Now, the source of happiness, as I said, long-lasting happiness, not infatuation, not transitory happiness, not pleasure. I'm talking about long-lasting joy and fulfillment and peace, is our essential nature. It's actually built into this system of the human, but most humans overlook that. This essential nature is actually, like, the substance of this nature is made of bliss and joy and peace. That's our original nature. That's our starting point. But we get into the world and we overlook that, and we seek happiness in somebody else, something else, material possessions, which we know cannot bring us that joy that we're after. Because not everybody wants to be enlightened, but everybody wants to be happy. But to understand happiness, we have to understand the source of happiness and how happiness arises. So now, how that relates to desire is because we're desiring anything to make us happy. So And there's two main kinds of desires. There's desires going towards happiness, and there's desires coming from happiness. So let's talk about the first one. Desires going toward happiness. Okay. So this is the negative one. The one that's not favorable, the one that's not optimal. This is the desire that is going towards happiness. So it's coming from a place of lack or inadequacy or self-doubt or insecurity. It's a desire that arises from that place of insufficiency. So essentially what's happening is that you're desiring something out of a place of need, of desperation, of want. So, like, I want this relationship. I need this relationship because I want it to make me happy. No human can make you happy. If you are expecting a relationship to make you happy, don't be surprised when conflict arises after the honeymoon phase, because no one can make you happy but your own internal true nature. And there's a process of going within. Anyways, the first desire is going towards happiness. So you're going to a substance. Maybe you're going towards alcohol, cigarettes, weed, ecstasy, like MDMA, drugs. You're seeking happiness in that drug. And maybe you're just thinking, oh, it just is a fun thing. I know it's not happiness, it's just pleasure. But essentially the starting point of your desire is coming from a place of incompleteness. Let's put it that way. We don't have to make it moralistic. You do what you want. It's not unethical. It's just to understand where that desire comes from. Same thing with sex. I don't know about sex actually, but say like promiscuity. You're expecting that one night stand to give you that sense of happiness, but that's pleasure, right? Pleasure and joy are very different. Pleasure is just a shadow of joy. It's still beautiful. Obviously it's still beautiful, but it's not the real thing. The real thing is that joy, which permeates your true original nature, which most people overlook and they can't tap into because they're lost in the 10,000 things out there. Women, gold, food, status, name and fame, possessions, cars. They overlook their own inherent true bliss that's built into the system. Anyways, that's the first desire. That's going towards happiness to fulfill them. The second desire is coming from a place of already having happiness. So the person that's going from the place of happiness isn't expecting somebody or some substance or some experience to make them happy, because they've already experienced it as their own nature. They've already experienced happiness, joy, peace, bliss, love, ecstasy as a manifestation from their own being. So they're not actually expecting that relationship to make them happy. They're more just sharing it. They're just sharing their newfound joy and love and bliss for existence with that person. There's a big difference, because the one who has found that on their own accord who has found out and realized that the substance of their own nature is bliss, joy, love, compassion. Once they know that as a lived experience, not as a philosophy or some intellectual scholarship, they know that. Once they're coming from that position, then they can love freely, or they can have any desire freely, because they understand that this desire isn't satisfying them. They're already satisfied, right? So that's how the two different desires work. One is coming from happiness, and the other one is going towards happiness. You want to have a desire that's coming from happiness. You're already happy. You're already complete. Now, we can see that in even and so yes, yeah, so this is why I want to bring in the law of attraction, because essentially the law of attraction, when you are so needy and craving and desperate for these desires, this manifestation or this law of attraction won't happen for you, because you haven't tapped into your own unique sense of bliss and joy. You're still seeking it out there in the world, and the world can never give you that. It's inside you, it's within it. Happiness is within. It's always been within. Jesus said this, Luke, in the Gospel of Luke, he said, the kingdom of heaven won't come with, I'm going to butcher this, but it's something like this. The kingdom of heaven won't come with observation, nor will they say, see this or hear this, for indeed the kingdom of heaven is within. So he's saying that, and that's not some sort of mystical thing. That's just saying your true inherent nature is bliss. They call it in Hinduism Satchitananda, existence, knowledge, bliss. So you are existence. Your being is this whole reality. You're just a fragment of that divinity, of that godlike reality. So that's existence. You are existence. But too often we think, I'm this person separate from that person, separate from nature, separate from the stars, separate from the trees. But in actual fact, we share this infinite consciousness with this whole reality. But we've done a pretty good job these days at separating ourselves from our true nature. Therefore, it's very hard to find. But if you want everlasting happiness, don't chase it in something else. Still endeavor, still have goals, still have ambition, but going with the mindset knowing that the true gem, the true gold is found within you. So that's the message. Oh yeah, sorry. Before I wrap it up, how that relates to the law of attraction is that once you come from that standpoint of completeness, wholeness, joy, love, peace from your own being, you're just getting high off your own inherent nature, which is in here. Then the whole universe, everything in existence will rush towards you. Because why? Because you no longer need anything for your happiness. You don't even need love, which is a crazy place to be. Like, can you imagine not needing romantic love? And when you don't need it, existence will, like the universe or existence or God will often reward you for that, in a sense, because because people will feel that you don't need it, you're not desperate, and you're complete, and people want to be around you, because you're no longer begging for friends or for money or for name and fame or for love, because it comes from within you. So naturally you have that glow about you because you are complete, and that's the spiritual path. That's the inward journey. And with the spiritual path, it's not about having like a revelation or having an epiphany or becoming enlightened. This can just come through the correct understanding. So that's it. Chase the love that's built into this system, the pure Atman, the pure consciousness, the pure bliss that you are. Chase that, understand that, read about that, and then from that standpoint, you can go endeavor in life as an expression of your freedom, as an expression of your love. And then what a beautiful attraction you'll have. That is the law of attraction. Everything will rush towards you in existence because you're not making anything, you're not trying to imprison anybody to be with you. You're not like, these friends have to be with me, or this girl has to be with me, or this job has to be with me. Your love becomes very broad, very open, very pure. So that's it. Chase the self, chase the spirit, chase divinity within you, understand it, and everything else shall be added unto you. See you later.